Hey y'all, what we're gonna do in this video, we're gonna pull the right-hand fuel tank, the newer one that I bought. We're gonna pull it out, clean it up real quick, then we're going to roll it over to the truck and kind of mock it up, kind of see where I'm gonna need to put it, how my mounts are gonna line up on the frame. Then we'll wrap the video up with pulling the shifter arm assembly with the gearbox off, the drive shaft for the steering or the shifter arm, and then the mount that goes on top of the transmission. I'm just going to go ahead and rebuild all those components. You'll see in the video they've got some issues, but follow along. I appreciate it. I suck at it, but I love it. Or go ahead and laugh. I would laugh. That's that munched cross member that goes across the bottom between the tanks. Boogered up pretty bad. Okay. So my next step is going to be, I guess I'll go out back and get the longer of the two tanks and clean it up a little bit. It's got a little bit of oil and grease and stuff on it. So I'll clean that up and drag it around here out front. Probably set the camera up while I'm cleaning it, just for fun. May or may not use the video, but I'll set it up. One big project I got to do is when I take this off, well, it's not really a big project. These lines are absolutely shot. Over here, can't really see it, but down in there, one of them is just split and just whistles and makes all kinds of racket. So those are the most urgent as far as lines that I got to replace. They go to this big block right here. It's nearly impossible to get to with this thing right on top of it. My seals are just totally shot and gone, so totally missing off the back. Got a bunch of slop in it, which I'm gonna blame at least partially for some of my shifting woes. But that's down the road here a very short ways. This is the tank that's going to go on the right hand side we're working on now. It's really not bad, a little dirty. These hangers, steel, these are aluminum. I'll be taking these off, sandblasting them. Right now I'm just going to clean it. Got a little grease on the bottom of it. Amazing what just a little bit of elbow grease will get you. And this was the dirtier of the two tanks, so. All right, so I just kind of got the other side just kind of set up on there, kind of how I envisioned it and where I envisioned it. So this is the factory tank setup, which isn't bad. I like it. I think it's going to look pretty sharp. This tank's probably at least 10 inches longer than the factory tanks would have been. I'll have to fiddle around with the where I put the hangers. This one's interfering a little bit with the mount for the exhaust stack, but I should be able to just slide it forward a little. This back one is kind of hitting where that cross member is, but the cross member could be moved easily. So could this. Whatever's going to work out, but just picture that with those tanks mounted and polished up like chrome. I think it's going to look freaking awesome. Oh, and along with the polished front bumper, get rid of this freaking nasty, ugly, banged up piece of crap. So I like it. I think it's freaking awesome. Freightliner or no Freightliner, I think it's gonna look sweet. Kind of gives it just a little bit of a custom touch, in my opinion. Hey y'all, it's a different day now. I've got this cab jacked up high enough I can set it on the safety latches. I rarely have it up quite this high, so you can kind of get a little better look-see at what all's going down under here. Got to pull all that dead insulation stuff down off of that side. It's already pulled off of this side. Your girl's really in pretty good shape. I mean, she has run pretty hard, I think, in its lifetime, but really, it's in pretty good shape. I'm not complaining. I think it was real well maintained. Run a lot and well maintained. That's the new cab mount, which is holding up spectacularly well so far. Well, I say that, I've only driven it about 30 miles, so. I was thinking of what the next best logical move is for me to get this thing on the road, you know, reliably driving and everything, and that has to be fixing my air leaks, which means I gotta pull these air lines right here up. They go right there, but I showed you these in another video, but that needs to kind of be done anyways. But what also needs to be done even more urgently is I need to pull this off and replace the boots. It's completely missing on this end. This one's just might as well be missing. I'm probably opening up a can of worms here, but I mean, it doesn't have a ton of slop in this one. But it's got a ton of slop up here. This one, on the other hand, comes right out of this box that the gear shifter comes right up out of. And this one has a ton of slop in it. So, not to mention my boots are just torn. My pad that seals against the floor is shot. You can just see the road going by down there when you're driving it. I mean, but here's the big problem. Look at this. mean, it's got, where my finger is, close to an inch of travel just right here. It goes in, it goes out. And when you move in the gear shift, I mean, it's just, I think to give myself the best shot at learning how to drive this truck and not tearing up the transmission, missing shifts, I think this just needs to be done now. I mean, I have to take it off anyways to do the airlines, which are leaking like crazy. So I'll pull it out. I'll probably replace the shift knob up there. The lines for the splitter and the range selector, that's all in good shape, but I'll probably buy a new chrome knob, sandblast and paint the shaft. Probably sandblast and paint that shaft as well. Replace these joints and figure out what in the world is going on right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that off. We're supposed to get some rain tonight, so I'm gonna have to, when I pull that off, I'm gonna have to put a wood block, cut a little wood block off and silicone it to the top of the trans so I don't get any water in there. But I could be opening up a can of worms here, but this just has to be done. I mean, no two ways about it. It's got to be done. So I'll set you up and let you watch. I don't think it's going to take very long, but I would rather be playing with the gas tanks. But those airlines, I think I've looked online and found some just straight from Eaton that are fairly reasonably priced. So I think I'll just pull them off and see if I can find some that are already cut to length from Eaton. And I think that'll just be the easiest way to go there. So I'll set you up and let you watch. All right then, so what I'm gonna do here is mark and remove my airlines off of here. I've already taken a picture or two. Got two black ones. Don't know whether that's supposed to be that way, but the lines I'm not gonna have to do anything with other than label. So I'm just gonna put a piece of tape on them. Chances are I will not remember what color went where when I go to put this back together. Depending on parts availability or whatever for that box, I don't know what I'm getting myself into here. About like every old project, really. Okay, while we're sitting here, this truck has a little water valve here, solenoid I think is all it is, that looks like it goes down to the shutters on the radiator. Looks like it's electrically operated somehow. Show you what I'm talking about. That guy right there. So, and then that goes over to a little junction block that's on the thermostat housing, big red block that the top radiator hose goes to, and the heater hose and an intake crossover tube. So I'm not sure how that system works. Like, I don't know if it's temperature, some kind of temperature operated, or if there's some kind of switch for it. So anybody that knows a lot more than me, just go ahead and feel free to tell me how that thing operates, because I don't know. Anyways, back to this. Okay, let's see. The knob on this has a little bit of corrosion and pitting and stuff on top of it, so I think I'll just replace it. You can buy them brand new still for relatively cheap. And I'll probably paint this gear shift assembly. This one ain't wanting to come out. Oh, it did come out. I'm surprised. Lots of times those things won't come out, like on cars, stuff like that. Oil pressure gauges. Lots of times end up having to cut them. Let me get my Sharpie. Label this before I forget. This is labeled S, and corresponding to that S there. Okay. I'm gonna do this one. It is gonna be labeled F. This one will be labeled R. And it's like E. Okay. Trying not to smoke my face on anything while I'm doing this. My head's an inch from the cab floor. My crotch is an inch from a nasty leaky power steering reservoir, which also needs to be addressed. Alright, see if this one comes apart. Hit! Man, not feeling lucky on this one. Nope. Negative Ghost Rider. Thankfully, I've got a whole lot of extra line here. Okay. Probably reflare them all anyways. Well, it's compression fitting, it's plastic, so you're not flaring anything, but you know what I'm trying to say. I figure while this truck's kind of disabled from the, popped off too. While this truck's disabled anyways from fuel tanks, whatever, airlines that I got to get done, I might as well do this. And any other soon to be urgent repairs. Yeah, not happening. I suppose if I wanted to, I could unthread these and just knock them out from the back, but I'm not. Okay, so that's off. But when I let the cab back down, I'll put something over here, keep the critters out. Well, I guess critters you can already get into. So, not exactly sure how this all is supposed to come apart, because it's kind of locked in by the back part, locked in down there, and it's locked in right here. So I'm going to work from the uphill part, so I'm not fighting weight. So I'll try to, they got some safety wire here holding this roll pin in place, so hopefully that means that roll pin's a little loose. I don't have to get too aggressive beating it out of there, but the plan is cut that, knock the roll pin out, and take these 3 bolts out, and I think that'll drop the shifter out and allow me to pull this apart. So that's my game plan. Tell you one thing I'm thankful for is that this truck is not too awfully dirty. Seemed like most of the trucks that I had looked at when I was looking for a cabbie were pretty freaking nasty greasy. So I'm thankful this one is not. I can get right in here, and as long as I stay off of this power steering reservoir relatively clean. Okay, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center punch and mark here and in the shaft, so I don't take a chance of losing my alignment. Okay. My neighbor's fired his Freightliner up. Just conventional truck, dump truck. Okay, that's sufficient. He's gonna be pulling out of here in a second. sufficiently marked. He's a brother to my trucking buddy Ricky that passed away last month. I don't normally like interruptions, you know, cars driving by, but I kind of like this interruption. Yep. Oh yeah. Sounds good to me. Roll pins coming. About out. I think getting this box and linkage tightened up is going to help me quite a bit with trying to drive this old wreck. So, the feel for the gears is so vague right now. I mean, you can't feel nothing. So don't know if this will actually improve it or not, but it can't hurt it. And I sure don't want to tear that transmission up on account of being lazy and not wanting to take this stuff out. Trying to see if this will move. I'm laying stuff on top of the battery, which I should not do, probably. I think that roll pin's out far enough. Might still be just barely touching. Let me get a smaller punch. Got it. I don't know where you get these. I've got good readable part numbers here on the shafts. They're probably okay, but I'm replacing them anyways. I think it'll be nice to be able to drive the truck and actually be able to feel what I'm doing with the gear shifter. Okay, so I left my socket over there, so I gotta try to reach over there and get it. I might knock you over. Yeah, can't make that reach. Make sure you can still see what I'm doing and that you haven't turned off. Get my floppy ratchet that I don't like. It was not tight. It was even looser. Let me guess, gonna be loose too. Yep. Safe bet this has never been out of the truck before, so she's due. Another thing I like about this International is when I was looking at other trucks, a lot of them just seemed a whole lot more complicated as far as the layout of all the controls and the wiring and the hydraulics and just everything involved in general with it. This International seems to be real well laid out. Dropped my deal there. Seemed to be real well laid out from a mechanical maintenance standpoint, which makes perfect sense since it's built by a tractor company. Okay, where the heck did that socket go? Naturally, I would drop it when I'm jammed into a spot where I can't lean down and get it. So I gotta kick it out. Oh God. Maybe I do need to worry about dieting. Alright, down to the last bolt. I don't know anything about what's going to be required with this. It may be worn beyond tolerances. It's got a ton of, the end of this deal is hogged out, so I don't know what all is going to be required there. Fortunately, I have located a couple of parts trucks, so maybe if I do end up having to replace the whole thing, one of them will be in good enough shape that okay. So what could be holding me up? Yeah, it's just sitting on the... Here it comes. Don't want to go that last inch. I have to give it some help. Wrong punch. Can't really get much of an angle on it. I think it moved. There she comes. Good deal. Now, wiggle this thing out of the way. I think I can. Oh yeah, room for days. Okay. I think. All right. I have to take the shifter knob off, maybe. See if I can drop it right into the radiator. That'd be awesome. Okay, up we go. All right. Success. Okay. Good deal. Let's reposition. Okay. Back to work. Same story here. Tie wire. This doesn't appear to have a pin in it. This just has a square head bolt jam nut set up, if you will. Okay. So, probably go ahead and punch this side as well. Just so I don't lose my reference. Make sure it made a mark. Pretty hard steel there. Hard steel and soft punch. Gotta watch some of the Asian punches. They're pretty lame. Wind up a lot of times trying to punch metal with a punch that's not even as hard as metal you're trying to punch. Okay, this appears to be loose. No surprise there.
had a smaller crescent wrench up here and a 1/2 inch wrench, but they're both under the transmission right now where I knocked them. Okay. Ooh, dude's loosey-goosey. Okay. Oh, this goes all the way, recesses all the way into it. Okay. Shaft is out. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, just leave that right there. Yeah, look at this. Thing hadn't done any good in 30 years. This doesn't have nearly as much slack in it, but I'm not sure what's in here. Probably has to have probably's got some bushings in there, seals, I imagine. Okay. Ouch. All right. Make sure you're still recording. A couple of weeks ago I was doing one and I just jabbering away for quite some time, and then didn't realize that somebody had called me because I had put my phone on airplane mode, and I'd lost a whole bunch of video and the test drive. That's fine. Yeah, was a good test drive too. Get them broke loose with this bigger one. They're all jam nutted. Filler neck's in the way. I've never had top one of these off, but on the international Facebook group, I asked about this not too long ago, and said comes right off, and there's 3 springs in there not to lose. So I'm gonna try not to lose the 3 springs that are supposedly in there. A little squirt of this nasty, stinky stuff. To be honest with you, I kind of want to peek in this transmission anyways. I just like seeing how stuff works. And I gotta tell you, I understand how a lot of manual transmissions work, but peeking inside of something like this, 2 counter shafts, I think, just blows my mind how they work. Transmissions, automatics especially, but big manuals, just way above my intelligence level at this point. And I kind of want to peek in here and see what the gears look like. See if I see any missing teeth or anything, which I don't expect to find because I've been through all the gears, all the ranges. Well, my buddy drove it and went through all the ranges, and nothing seemed to miss. So, boy, I gotta tell you, working on a Cabover is so much easier than conventionals. I've done a little piddling with conventional trucks, and man, they're a pain sometimes. Not so much the engine, but pulling a transmission, holy cow. Especially on like an old dump truck that's been leaking everywhere that it could possibly leak. And when the transmission finally gives up, or clutch, that's not much fun. Well, it's funner than working on any new automobile, but it's funny that My wife says that I'm doing the YouTube thing because she says I'm the most socially awkward person she ever met. And I'm really not that much of a people person, but I do like talking to myself, apparently. Snug. And I also like learning. So with YouTube, other than setting a camera up, I'm doing stuff I'm already going to be doing. I'm already talking to myself. I need an extension, but I'm already up here on the truck, so I'm not going to go get one. Okay. Took down the wife's little swimming pool today. It's only like a 14 foot, like 2 or 3 feet deep, something like that. That sucks. Not much fun. I would much rather be getting greasy on this truck. Free wheels for a second and then stops. And free wheels and then stops. I really want this truck to be pretty well mechanically sorted before I really drive it much. I have no reason to think that I couldn't go on trips, but I'd like to haul our little 26-foot RV and pull a little car hauler and stuff to shows. And it might sound really, really funny to some of you truckers. I told my wife this, and she was pretty amused. I'm really looking forward to spending the night in this truck. Ain't that some craziness? I don't know, it's kind of weird. My wife says it's really weird. But I bet she would be okay with it. Now, keep in mind that would only be when the temperature is 70 degrees or lower. If I hit about 71 degrees, I can't sleep. Any hotter than that, no way. I'm a cold climate kind of guy, and 50 degrees or 40 degrees, I could sleep all day. Back in Boy Scouts, we'd go on campouts about 9 months. Actually, I think probably 10 or 11 months out of the year, wintertime or not. So we got to sleep in a tent in all kinds of weather. I liked the wintertime camping. I hated the summertime stuff. Okay, so see what we're going to see under here. Oh boy. Oh, I see springs. Look like 2 of them stayed down. 1 stuck to the plastic. Okay. Well, that's relatively simple. Let's get this out of the way. Well, you really can't see much. There's a little bit of a groove war here in the center. Nothing on these outer ones. Springs are all there. Somebody's definitely been in it before, not surprisingly. Got blue RTV on it. There'll be some more RTV on it as soon as I get a little cover made for it. The RTV spluted all on top of the springs. That's what held these 2 in. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. If you know, holler at me. these supposed to have silicone on them? Okay. Good news is that mating surface is real clean. Doesn't seem to be no corrosion in there. Oil's clean, other than just the residue sitting up there. Don't see no metal. So I'm gonna have to make a cover for that out of wood real quick. I'll pull that shaft out. So, what I don't know is how to get these out. That one appears to be loose. Or broken. I think just loose. It was whistling like crazy back here. Yeah, that's most definitely loose. Not even close to being tight. So, I reckon I'll pull these springs out. They're probably all the same, maybe. That's the first one. Second one. Third one. Lay them how they came out. They appear to be the same. Looks like check balls down in there. Must just be detent springs. Those things slide back, they snap in, be my guess. I'm no expert. Okay. I'm going to make that cover and see what's going to be required to get these lines off of here. I don't have to do it today, but what I don't know is if I can turn them on this end and without having to take the back off the transmission off those little covers. I'm hoping I can. I don't know if these are some kind of a swivel fitting or what, but I'll find out soon enough. Alright, so I got all these components out, kind of laid out in the order they come out. Got that, which is going to need obviously seals, new joints, shifter assembly. I'll restore this. This is kind of how this works. Goes in, out, like that, and then when you move it laterally, it turns that shaft. Sorry, it's a little jerky. What I did want to show you is look how much movement this thing has with no corresponding movement of the gear shift lever. I mean, the gear shift, the box is not moving. So, that could not have been helping me. But it's going to look a whole lot different. It's got some blue paint on it. I wonder if it's painted that color from the factory or if that's just some who knows what from back in the day. So pretty much done up here for today. Got me a cover put on there, huggy pucked up top and bottom and the bolts. Probably the next project we'll tackle is them lines. Don't have time to do it today. Won't have time to do it next weekend, but I got enough done this weekend to cover a couple of weeks worth of videos. So I'll just take this deal off here. One of the lines goes straight into this T. The other two come over to there. So that'll probably be the next project. Look, this is how loose this line was. I don't know if you can even see it. Like you can turn it. But anyways, that's going to be probably the next project. I appreciate you following along, and like and subscribe if you want to see more.